What up, my beautiful African family? This is your main man, Theo E.J. Wilson with African Diaspora News. And something's in the air. That's all I can say. Because, boy, is the revolution not only televised, it is live streamed, it is broadcasted on TikTok, it is on every social media platform. Gen Z ain't playing no games with nobody. As if toppling Nepal's government wasn't enough, in the words of DJ Khaled, they got another one. Another one. And that other one is Madagascar. Oh my goodness, did them young folks take to the streets because they not being served, because the people couldn't get basic water and electricity from a deeply corrupt government. When I was in the process of making this story, the latest news was that the military had joined the people.
Crisis in Madagascar. What's really happening? What if I told you the military is now siding with protesters in Madagascar? Yep, you heard that right. The gendarmerie has openly stated they're here to protect, not terrorize the people. And it doesn't stop there. On Saturday, some military troops took it further, calling for a refusal to fire on protesters.
So I thought that it was absolutely newsworthy that the military decided to disobey unlawful orders and join with the people. And then I come to find out while I'm making this video that this happened.
The president of Madagascar fleeing the country following weeks of demonstrations led by Gen Z protesters. An opposition lawmaker says President Andry Rajoelina left the African nation after members of the military turned against the government. It's unclear exactly where he is right now, but reports say he left on a French military plane.
The president gone, y'all. Can you imagine that? The president was just like, sayonara, deuces, see y'all later, got on a plane and was out, and then was on social media trying to disband and invalidate the new military government that sided with the people, that sided with Gen Z, as if he had any more clout, as if he had any more pull. I'm like, buddy, you out of there. And here's what's so crazy about this to me, just to me, right? It's France again. It's France again. France is taking L's. Loss after loss. I mean, first it's the entire francophonic part of West Africa, damn near, right? We got the Sahel Alliance. So that's Ibrahim and them over in Burkina Faso, right? That's Mali, Niger. You got possibly Senegal joining the new Sahel Alliance. And then on top of that, they done lost a little island to the east of Africa, Madagascar. I'm talking about back-to-back losses. France, wow. I have never seen more imperial chickens come home to roost this quickly as I have with France. So no tears for them. Peace out. Long overdue. And let's look into who this military is that actually pulled this off. The military unit that got this president out is the same military unit that got this president in. It's called CAPSAT. And it has a heck of a history with the multiple coups and overturnings that have happened since Madagascar got its liberation from France in 1960. Liberation, we're going to put that in quotes because we know how imperial powers play. But here's what really happened. CAPSAT is one of multiple military units in Madagascar, but gosh, they have some significance. So the outlet DW asks, is history repeating itself? Rajoelina came to power in 2009 after CAPSAT supported a revolt to oust his predecessor. At the time, Rajoelina was the mayor of the capital and assembled several tens of thousands in the streets demanding the resignation of President Marc Ravalomanana's government. Observers say the events unfolding are too similar to ignore. Because of the influence, the history, and the legitimacy that CAPSAT has, it means that as much as Rajoelina has leverage and control of other units, the balance of power is not in his favor right now. Now, personally, I knew that when the military sided with the people and not the president, his days were numbered as president because of the fact that ultimately he's just a man, flesh and blood human being, and that they would be his line of defense against the people's uprising. We saw that they at first did his will and his bidding when they killed 22 protesters, right? So 22 protesters had already been killed up to this point. And I'm starting to see why power fears when the military sees the people's side. I've looked at the protests here in America, and I've seen protesters say some powerful things to whether it's ICE or whether it's the National Guard. And I can't help but wonder what's processing underneath those helmets? What's processing inside of those uniforms when they're hearing the truth that other working class people are also protesting on the military's behalf? Now, a lot of people are looking at what's going on in America and seeing these fascist moves that our president is making and likening it to Nazi Germany. And though there are some interesting parallels in their attempts, what's not similar to Nazi Germany is popular support. Popular support is everything. The reason why Hitler was able to get away with what he did is because he didn't just have a fear factor that was controlling the German people. He had a flourish factor that also controlled them. Now, a lot of people don't really know this little bit of minutia, right? But in the beginning, when Hitler first seized power, he sent the people into like a honeymoon phase, right? When he became chancellor, they pulled off what had been noted by many Western papers as an economic miracle. This was so important because Germany, before Hitler had taken power, was recovering from the economic toll of World War I, how they had to pay war reparations to everybody else in Europe. But then Hitler's economic miracle made it so that people were bought into him. People ain't bought into this administration like that. Imagine if Trump had created prosperity to the likes that we had never seen. I mean, we look up gas is like $1.25 a gallon, right? We look up and groceries is, you know what I'm saying, at like freaking 1995 prices, right? And you all of a sudden got money in your savings, and then you got all of this stuff going on that's like your dreams come true. Life is affordable. Then people would be more apropos to be like, look, man, Trump got life good for us right now, right? But Trump didn't deliver the flourish factor. And because he didn't deliver the flourish factor, the fear factor that Hitler had, which was the fear factor of losing the flourish, cannot work for Trump. And this is one thing that I'm starting to see is breaking ranks, not only among MAGA, but well deep in the MAGA ranks are law enforcement. I mean, the military, the police unions, you name it, ICE, right? If they don't see a flourish factor, what the people saying might have more weight, might have more strength, right? You got popular revolt on a scale that like Trump can't control. And now you got a situation where the general of the Oregon National Guard is breaking ranks and saying stuff like this.
It is my understanding, however, that protective crowd control will be one of the things they're trained upon, and I will provide my advice to the Title X commander that Oregon National Guard men and women they serve two purposes: one, to defend America, and two, to protect Oregonians. And so by serving in this mission, they will be protecting any protesters at the ICE facility. My number one concern is the protection and the care of my soldiers while they're deployed on this mission. And many of our citizens will not see a distinction between our Oregon National Guard, citizen soldiers, and ICE agents, Federal Protective Service agents, and other federal agents. And I would just like to request of each of you, and please pass this on to your colleagues, that our soldiers we're the home team. And our job is to protect and serve Oregonians, and we follow lawful orders, and that's what we're doing, and to please treat them with dignity and respect as fellow Oregonians. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
He said unequivocally that they are there to protect the Oregonian people. And I'm wondering how many more generals going to break ranks, and what other kind of popular uprising might we start to see here in America? Because I'm going to tell you this, man. ICE making enemies in the wrong places. You have situations that I've reported on, that other folks on African Diaspora News have reported on, where they bumping up against Chicago PD. Got people who are working in law enforcement like, yo, these ICE cats is unruly. Then you add on top of it that them generals did not want to clap for Pete Hegseth after he did his little pump-up speech. Wasn't nobody feeling that man in that room. And they didn't really clap for Trump. He even said, hey, this is the quietest room I ever walked into. You got these folks who are top of military command not believing in the legitimacy of the commander-in-chief and his minions. You've got discontent and a fracturing of the MAGA base unlike any other. And if these Epstein files should come out and the people in Trump's cabinet invoke the 25th Amendment, or if enough people join the Democrats from the Republican side and invoke Article 2, Section 4 of the Constitution, you never know what could happen. These are crazy times. And don't say it can't happen, because a lot of what's happening now, folks said was impossible. But here's something that the Madagascar people do have in common with the American people. Things are unaffordable. Basic services are not being delivered. You got the freaking power grid completely vulnerable and at risk. Should that go down, I guarantee you folks will be in these streets. I see a lot of commonalities between these two countries. Will what happened in Madagascar happen in America? A relatively bloodless coup for an unpopular leader who ain't delivering services? Only time will tell. But I guarantee you this. If it happens, you will hear about it here at African Diaspora News Channel. So make sure that you click that subscribe button, click the like button. Go ahead and follow me on my personal page if you want to hear things that are not diaspora related at my channel, Theo Cyrus Rising. And make sure y'all download that app, y'all. Ain't number 13 cents a day. That's $9.99 a month. You can't afford not to download the app. I got it. You should get it too. Join me next time. Will you join me this time? I am Theo E.J. Wilson, and I'll holler back at y'all a little later. Peace, family.